Do you really need to spend all that cash on a souped up MacBook Pro? Hear me out. Downgrade to the MacBook Air this time. And this is coming from someone who always went with the MacBook Pro. I have changed my ways. One thing you should ask yourself is having a previous model MacBook Pro still better than the current MacBook Air? This is an especially important question if your current MacBook Pro is an Intel model from around 2020 or earlier. And I'll have more to share about that in a minute. I always thought I would need the MacBook Pro as my daily driver, but I've since learned that typically I just needed something lightweight for my run and gun tasks. Sure, these days there are some incredibly powerful MacBook Pros designed for the high-end user, but for many of us seeking a blend of power and portability without breaking the bank, the MacBook Air has me convinced. Let's dive into why. I'm going to break it down into 5 major reasons, and I hope that this can give you a sense of what might matter to you most or what might not matter as much. And I've got some cool accessories that every single Mac user should have no matter which direction they go. Of course, you can't ever just buy one thing. There's always strings attached to this kind of purchase. If anyone asks me for my opinion on the new MacBook Airs, the very first thing I always default to is the overall thermal performance. Without a doubt, this was the one thing that really sold me. In the past, my Intel MacBook Pro was always huffing and puffing, and it was impossible to use on my lap or a surface like a bed or a couch. Battery power always seemed to suffer, and thermal throttling kept me from even getting close to its maximum processing power. I don't think people even realize how often and how intensely thermal throttling undoes all that power that the laptops have. Also, I feel like it's almost a rite of passage to have a laptop burn your torso while using it before bed or something, which is why having a case that doesn't interfere with heat distribution is key. The Subcase Unicorn Beetle case works best for me because it protects and cools all while not hindering the MacBook Air's aesthetic and functionality. Here's something I bet you didn't know. The new MacBook Air has no fans and uses way less energy, which in turn emits way less heat. This is why ditching the Intel chips for the Apple Silicon chips was the most revolutionary thing since the switch from PowerPC to Intel in the mid-2000s. The M1 MacBook Air was the first model to ditch the fan and used heat dissipating technology under the hood instead. That means if you're a heavy user, your internals aren't going to be getting caked with dust, pet hair, dander, and other little fibers. Also, before I forget, be sure to give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and I'll use that to make better videos next time. And if you like what you see, subscribe and you won't miss my next video. With the new Apple Silicon architecture replacing the old Intel, the key to understanding how performance has improved is to look at the numbers, which I should really reconsider since I dropped out of college years ago. On Silicon Macs, you'll spend less time tethered to a power cord, not that I don't enjoy my more compact Anker power adapter with a folding plug for the task. I think it's really surprising how the data points stack up against each other on the 2020 Intel MacBook Pro versus the M3 MacBook Air. Not to mention, I just feel like using it is much more seamless. On every Intel MacBook Pro, Google Chrome just seemed to be a bit of a hefty task and always led to high heat dissipation. Who knew we'd be asking for so much doing so little? I don't see why multiple open Facebook Marketplace tabs is so taxing, but whatever. I was so pumped when I experienced firsthand how the M3 MacBook Air doesn't even get warm. And that's surprising given the fact that it has a much more powerful processor that you would assume would get warmer with all that power. To put that into perspective, a 2020 13-inch MacBook Pro with a 2.3 GHz i7 gets a multi-core benchmark of 4089 versus an M3 4 GHz MacBook Air's multi-core benchmark of 11,959. That means it would take nearly 3 of the 2020 MacBook Pros of that specific model to compete with this MacBook Air. The nice thing about the Air also is that I see some pretty deep discounts from places like Best Buy or Amazon quite frequently. As of now, while making this video, the M3 MacBook Air's base model is going for just $929 on Amazon, so I'll be sure to link that in the video description for you. Don't sleep on that one, that's the best you'll find for a while most likely. And while we're on the topic of grabbing it on Amazon, I can't help but mention that Amazon would be the best place to get some AirPod Pros to go along with your MacBook Air. Right now, while I'm making this video, they're going for just $189 for the second gens, which is way cheaper than the original $249 price point. Basically, if you're paying full price for Apple products, you're doing it wrong. This was what I was waiting for. I could not stand not having MagSafe because I don't like not having trip-proof charging when I'm using my laptop around the house. Gone are the days of the great dongle dilemma, juggling ports for charging, Ethernet, and displays. Now, MagSafe frees up my Thunderbolt ports for the essentials without a tangled mess of adapters. And sure, I could use a USB-C to HDMI adapter so I at least have a USB-A port available whilst charging and pushing a display, but why settle for that when MagSafe does it all cleaner and more simpler? It's more clean and more simply. You get the idea. So now we're getting essentially an additional port thanks to dedicated MagSafe charging, no dust buildup inside from a fanless cooling system, a sleeker and more lightweight build, nearly 3x the power, and an unbeatable entry price point if you buy it on sale. Again, these are just my personal opinions, and you definitely should buy the device that fits your exact needs and budget. Also, if you happen to have an old MacBook Pro that works still, you're not using a beater, you're using a blessing. Costs nothing to keep what you already have. I just hope to be a helpful part in your decision-making process. Just don't forget that I'm always right. Like this video if you got some value out of it, and subscribe to see more of what I've got going on in the future. Drop me a line down below if you have any thoughts on the matter, and I'll be sure to give it a read.